Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Noach. This week's edition is entitled, What do Avraham Avinu and Haman HaRasha have in common? But before we answer that, I'd like to go back earlier in Shvi'i. In Perek Yudal Pasuk Zayin, Hashem says, let us go down and confuse the languages of the people. We're talking here about the Dor haflaga that was building a migdal, a tower, in order to rebel against Hashem. Rashi says what would happen was that if one person asked for a brick, he would get mortar instead. And due to the frustration of all the confusion going on, one person would end up smashing the other person's head, basically killing each other. So the question that the Brisker Rav asked, and will answer, is why was it not enough just to make that they didn't understand each other's language? Why did they have to have it that they would confuse each other and think that one word in one language actually meant something else in the other language? Why couldn't it just be like, well, I don't know what you're saying, but instead they thought they knew they were saying. They were thinking that what you called this, we call this, and they had all that miscommunication. So the Brisker Rav answers that the people were so united at that time, which is a maila. We find that later by the Bnei Yisrael, Kishachad B'Lev Achad by Har Sinai, and the like. That's a good quality. And here they were using it for a rebellion against Hashem, and they were so determined that even if they couldn't understand the language, they would have figured out the nuances. Kind of like a mother knows when her baby's crying what each different cry is. So they were so attuned to each other that even though they wouldn't speak the same language, they could communicate properly what they wanted from each other. So in order to stop them, Hashem had to confuse them. And in fact, we see from the Pasuk, this was not enough. Hashem actually had to, in the result, scatter them. That they, in order to, and then finally after he scattered them, then they stopped building this tower. Actually, it says a few Pasukim before in Perek Dal that they were afraid that let's build this tower so that won't be scattered. And ironically, they were punished in order to stop them. They were scattered. And we see a similar example how people could be so motivated to sin that even though they're punished, they keep on trying. And we see that later on, Parshas Vayera, in Sodom. They were trying to get into Lot's house, and so Hashem struck them with blindness. So did that stop them? Hey, how do we come? We all got blinded now. We should stop trying to do what they were doing. Instead, they kept on trying to break down Lot's house and door in any case. So we see that when someone wants to do Ra, it takes really a lot to stop them. So going back to the difference between, or the similarity between Avraham and Haman, so they both had a mother by the name of Amaslai. The difference was that Avram's mother's name was Amaslai Bas Karnavo, and Haman's mother's name was Amaslai Bas Arvasa. So Reb Chanan bar Rava Amarav in the Gemara Baba Basra Daf Tzadi Aleph says, what's the difference between the two of them? The sign to know the difference is Tameh Tameh Tar Tar, that something that's Tahar stays with pures, and something that's Tameh stays with impurities. So Tameh Tameh Tar Tar. So when it says Amaslai Bas Karnavo by Avram, because Carnival represents karim or tzon. It's a sheep. It's something that's a kosher animal. So Avram was kosher. She was kosher. So they get connected in that pure way. In contrast, Haman and his mother were both evil, and she was a Maslai Bas Arvasa. Arvasa is a raven, which is a tameh, impure animal, because she and Haman were both impure. Both were Rishayim. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos.